Hello everyone and welcome again to this series on how to draw wild animals. Before we start, of course, if you could subscribe, that would be fabulous. Thank you very much. And also, ring that little bell icon if you want to know what's coming up next. Okay, well, the wild animal today is a tiger. And I'm going to start with the head. It's going to be kind of creeping along, so the body will be over here, its head down here. Start off with its forehead, curves like that. And we're seeing it from the side, slightly three-quarter view. That's its eye coming, its eyelash coming in there, and front of its snout coming down there like that. And its nose, a kind of triangular shape, like that. And then from the bottom of the nose, you get the bottom of the muzzle coming in, curving up, like that. And below that, is about here, you get the chin shape appearing, coming up like that. Now if you take a line across here, you'll find this is where the other eye appears, so the eyelash should be about there. But again, if you draw, like the line, if you draw a sort of diamond shape, that there, that can give the idea of the tiger's eye. And of course, it's surrounded by quite distinct markings. There's white on the tiger. There's also, of course, orangey and yellow colour, brown colours, which we'll be doing later, after the markings. So I'll imagine the line up, there's the centre of the head there, and the markings coming down kind of either side of that. Splaying out like that, and above the eye itself. And then towards the corner of the eye, you'll get one coming up like that. A bit of white under there, and a black shape coming in below that. And then down here, you get the lines of the dots of the whiskers, and another couple of black markings there. The whiskers all come from about here and go across like that. Okay, so let's move up to the ear now. Carry on with the top of the forehead, which curves over the top of the head like that. And have one ear coming out there, and coming across. The other ear appears about there. It looks like a triangle, but the actual shape is more of a big curve like that. Okay, with the internal shape of the hair and so on. Now, the way that it's slinking along here, you know, you have the muscles and the bones of its back protruding like that. Get that curve like that, come over its shoulder. There's its shoulder there, curving towards its long back. It's a much more kind of long shape than a lion, much more kind of low slung. And into there is that long, graceful shape. And the way that it's padding along, its chest is extended, so imagine its chest would be here, because that's extended across down to its front left paw, which comes down here, and its right one appears on the other side. Imagine that's the kind of bump of the bone at the top of his leg coming down there. It pushed up its shoulder, and its other paw, very broad at the top here, comes across, narrowing towards the ankle shape, and down to the great powerful paw shapes here, like that. Okay, I'll just indicate a couple of the markings as I go. These stripe markings, of course, act as camouflage, and the tiger is stalking its prey through long grasses and so on, so they can get a kind of dappled shadow effect. And its victims don't know where it's coming from. I can't really see it. That, another one down here. Okay, I've got another couple of patterns up here. They kind of follow the shape, the curve of the animal, you know. So coming around the head shape, you get this big curve coming like that. And over the top of the back, again, you get stripes coming like that, following the curve of the animal's muscles. And some break up like that. Sometimes you get a nice big long one that comes down, curving over the muscles on the side of the animal there. then continuing down. Yeah, a nice curve shape. And another one curving up that way, and a separate one here. Maybe one about there. Okay, and lots more along the back, of course. That. Let's get the shape in a bit better now. So that was the chest. Imagine the hair of the tiger coming down here, and then it's right paw. To end looks a bit shorter than that one because it's pushed up. Imagine your elbow pushing up. Well, the elbow would come in about there. In the body of the tiger, but the front paw comes down like that. Again, these paws here like that, and you'll see the talons, just the nails appearing in like that. And again, I put in some of these bits of pattern which appear in the tigers, and again going up, following the shape of the actual animal itself, the contours. Okay. Underside, imagine that shape continuing under its stomach there, coming up like that, and extending, and a big curve right round like that, because this is the back leg which is extended out to about there. Like that. And this back leg is lifted up above the ground. The paws, you're seeing it kind of coming back the way, almost like that. And the other leg, imagine coming down here and appearing in behind the tiger, appearing in there. Again, very broad at the top, and bending forward this time to again another great paw shape appearing. And you see that kind of motion, and of course balanced by a very graceful tail which continues that line down there and curves up and quite broad at the end, and then narrowing towards the tip. Comes up like that, and unlike a lion, it hasn't got a very bushy end to its tail, but it's got a kind of fuzzy end like that, fuzzy ball, And of course there are lines, stripes, curving round, try and get them to appear round like that, curving round the shape of the tiger's tail. And then as it comes up towards the actual tiger itself, you get more of a line coming that way, because this is the way in which the pattern is going to be falling on the tiger like that. Okay, so along the back here, again, try and follow the lines of the shape of the tiger. Remember, the back of the tiger is kind of flat, and then it curves around, so you get these shapes coming across the top of the tiger and curving round his body like that. Okay, and you can carry on doing that. In fact, you can always make up your own pattern. As long as you make sure that you draw these lines curving round the shape of the tiger like that. Okay, all right, I'm just finishing off the stripes, just again on this leg, following the curve of the animal's body, like that. As you see, I've continued the stripes right around here, following the kind of contours of the tiger. What I'm going to do now, because I'm going to colour this with coloured pencils, but if you use coloured pencils on top of an actual pencil, you tend to find it streaks, makes it a bit dirty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for my pencil lines with a pen, and then rub out all the pencil lines, so we get a nice clean area for the colour pencils. I have a fine tip pen, and I'm just going to go over the contour, as I said. And you don't have to use a solid line. You can use a broken line like that, because that kind of suggests the hair on the tiger's body. Okay, use a kind of sketchy line like that. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing that. Finish it up. I'll even draw around the patterns of the stripes very lightly, just to bring them out, make them a lot clearer. And they have quite a ragged quality to them if you look up close. They're not all that smooth, that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to continue with that, and I'll catch up with you when I've done it. Okay, I finished cleaning up the drawing. I outlined it all in black pen, and I'm going to move on to the colours now. And as you can see, there's a kind of limited range here: orange, yellows, pale brown, slightly darker brown, white and black. What I want to do first of all is to just indicate where the light is falling on the tiger. For instance, the light is falling from the top, so the top of the tiger is going to be slightly lighter than the underside. Okay, so you'll get a line along the back here. Just imagine this with the orange pencil rather. This part here will be lighter, so I'm just indicating it first of all. I'll go over the top of the shoulder muscle there, carry on over the top of the back of the head here. So that'll be lighter, this part will be lighter than this part. Okay? That's the main bit that's going to be light. And then what I'll do is I'll start to shade in the rest, and I'll pick out parts which are also going to be darker, like this part here, round about here, and so on. But also, what I want to indicate are the places where the white areas are. So they're going to be, this area is white here. It's also going to be white along the top of his eye here. This big area here is white. Right, so this will be shaded in, but this area here is going to be left white. Also white patch in his ear there. Alright, also the bottom part of his chin, that's white, and the white shape comes up across these stripes, down here, coming down around his chest, which is white, down the front of this leg here, at the back, and then on the underside of his belly here. This part's white, so there's the line going across, joining on to his haunch there, and this is white here, but with a kind of darker line in here. This is all shaded around here. The tip of his tail is white, so the orange only goes to about there. And all this is white, apart from a little bit at the front here. This carries down there. Okay, so that indicates the white areas and also the lighter areas. So let's start shading in, first of all, with an orange pencil, just to get the kind of background colour going. So I'm just going to shade in all of the areas just now, apart from the white areas. So I come down to there, leave that bit white, remember? Down to there, leave that white, and then just a very kind of pale touch up to the top part, because that's going to be nice and a light orange yellow colour where it's catching the light. So we'll bring it down like this, right over the stripes, remember, down to that line which indicates the white, then to there. So this is the beginning, this is the kind of background tone, if you like, for everything. I'll just put a bit more colour up here, but that, as I said earlier, is going to be light. So let's take a yellow colour and add that over the top of the orange that I've done there. Catching the light there, see that? Right down over the flank here. That's much more orangey colour. And if you like, you can put some more yellow over here. Also, there's some light catching the part of his elbow here, coming down. The good thing about colour pencils is you can work one colour on top of another and gradually build up complexity. Okay, and take this russet colour here, and we're going to work on the darker areas now. So just of his nose here, this is darker. Up to there, also the bottom part of the muzzle here. And there it goes. And I can go over the top of that again with the orange to bring it out. But at the moment, I'm just kind of darkening this down. Okay, you find some darker bits across here. Around the muscles, also around the muscle here. Right along here, along the side of the flank. And shaded down here. So I'm going to work on that, and let's see what it looks like when I've done that, okay? Right, I've been working on the darker area here, on the kind of muscle contours like that, and around here. And what I'm going to do now is get the orange and just work over the top of that again to keep the orange colour as the main colour, obviously, but I'll also work on top of that with yellow. And you can actually build it up layer by layer. And of course the shadows on the white parts, which I'll use grey for, especially around about here. Right, let's move to the yellow now. There's a more lemon yellow we could pick up brighter highlight along the top there, and then bring it into the main body of the colour. Like that. Okay. And a more warm yellow again. Okay, this gets all the background colour organised, then we can put the pattern on. Okay, let's leave that just now and move on to the shadows for the white parts. Okay, under here, a bit shadow in here, using a grey. Show the shadow there like that. And then underneath the chest muscle that comes across, you'll get some grey shadows, and you can again use your pencil to indicate the hair. You like little short strokes like that, and then this part will be shadowed here. So you can start off by using the circular motion, bring your shading down like that, and then you can add a few more impressionistic kind of lines to suggest the hair on the tiger's leg, like that. Okay, even a few crosshatch lines, keep it sketchy. Okay, and along the underside here, again, that's going to be in shadow. Again, you can indicate a few more lines like that, and shaded under here. Nice deep shading over that orange already done. Get the depth in there. Bring it down to there. And also we can go over this part here because that's kind of in shadow as well. And underneath the tail that comes back. Of course this part's white, so the shadowing will be in grey on that part. And the end of the tail, I'll go over it in a minute with the orange, or the dark brown rather. But that gives you an idea of the basic structure and colour of the animal. Okay. So let's start putting in the black stripes now. I'll do that with a combination of the black colour pencil and a pen. Okay, so as I said, this part of the ear is black with that part left white. Okay, and you will see very quickly how the character or the real character of the tiger takes shape once the stripes go on. Oop. Like that, you see that? And if I take the pen, I can then just, work on the stripes as well. And what you can also do with the pen, which is a sharper point and doesn't break, you can actually use it like that. So what you get is rather a solid shape like that. You can also get that kind of slightly crosshatch shape like that, which also gives the impression of a slight roughness of the hair on the tiger. See that? And a much more kind of dynamic and sketchy look to it as well. Okay. Like that. And let's see, we'll get a bit of black around the tiger's eye here. And a bit of black here, and a little bit of black shading down towards the nose, which again we can put in like there. Like that. See how that's starting to really pick out now? Okay. So I'm going to carry on with my pencil and my pen, and I'm just going to go over these stripes, shade them in like that, and also can accentuate the hair and also do a bit of sketching on the actual tiger itself, little bits of little marks to suggest the hair of the tiger as it comes down. You know, try and keep your pen work quite loose, like that. Okay. So let me continue with that then, and let's see how it looks when I've done it. Okay, I'm just finishing off the stripes with the pen now. You see how dramatic the drawing looks now with all the stripes done. Okay, excellent. There's only one last thing to do, and that's to get this kind of russet colour and put on his eyeball. Like that. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you can join me again very soon for another tutorial. But in the meantime, of course, all the best and happy drawing.